Hello and welcome to Web Development for Graphic Communications. My name is Kay Bishop and I'll be the instructor for this class. I teach as a lecturer in the Department of Art primarily through the Graphic Communications Management Program, formerly known as GATE. I want to give a brief introduction of myself and of this class, kind of who I am and who I'm not, what this class is, and what it is not. First of all, you may see my name spelled as K-A-I or K-A-Y. Both are correct, so just feel free to call me Kay. I want to show a short video clip that I learned how to use in an app called 1 Second a Day so that you can see kind of a second of a day for most of the fall semester to give you an idea kind of what my days are made up of. Yes, going.
Wrap each other. Do one more. Yeah, these. One, two, three.
So as you can see, I do have a life outside of this class, as I know you all do too. And so I will try to be sensitive to that. And one of the things that I have done this semester as I've evaluated past semesters is I've decided to remove all quizzes. So we will not have any quiz assessments in this class so that you can focus on the homework assignments and practice tutorial files that will enable you to complete your final project websites. Last semester in one of my classes, we did some personality tests, and one of the things that I have found in previous personality tests is that I am either like Barbara Bush or Bob Dylan. So as you can see from the video, I am a mother of two and I do have a nurturing side, and I really want to be an advocate for my students and want to be here to help you and to nurture you in your growth and development. And at the heart of it, I am an artist at heart, so I do tend to come at things with a creative spirit, and I hope that you will too, and that I hope that you can have fun with that in your projects. And I'm also a graduate student. This is my last semester to complete my graduate work in the Department of Education at App State. I'm focusing on educational media, new media literacies with global perspective. So I really have a heart for education, for international cross-cultural ministry, also for design and art, and for students. So let's talk about this class. The goal of this class is to enable you by the end of the semester to have a basic working website that you can showcase when you send out your resume or your portfolio to potential employers when you graduate. And so you want to really shine in that area so they can see that you have the ability to use the Adobe programs to create, design, and develop a fully fleshed out website. So you will be designing your own e-portfolio, and you will be designing a professional site, working with a group in this class, and then you will also show that you can think responsively in a mobile format in designing a website plan. You will be using Adobe Dreamweaver to design these sites, and we will also be using Photoshop. So first of all, you want to make sure that you have access to the Adobe Creative Cloud, whether it's through the school library or through your own personal computer. So you want to make sure that you are able to get those installed and set up, and that you're able to pay for the subscription if you so choose to install them on your personal computer. So I'll get into all of more of the details of that later, but just wanted to give you that heads up of the platform that we'll be using. I'm going to be working on a Mac computer, so that's something else to be aware of, that everything I'm teaching from is for a Mac. The textbook that is required for this class is Against the Clock for Dreamweaver. I'll be using the 2019 version, and there are instructions in the textbook for Windows PC, but I'm going to be using a Mac for everything, just so that you know. If you have any questions in this class, it's an online class, so we do have an online help Q&A forum that I would encourage you to use first if you have a question, so that I and our TA can answer the questions for other classmates to see in case they may have the same questions. So I would do that first. Then you can also email me. Since it's an online class, for some of you this may be the first time that you're taking an online class. Others of you may have taken an online class before and maybe not had such a good experience. So I want this to be a good experience for you, and I will work with you on that. So I want you to know that even though the class is online, I am available, and I wanted to talk through a little bit about what an online class is and what it is not. So being an online student does have its challenges. I myself am an online student as well. So you do have to be independent, self-motivated, and you have to manage your time wisely. This is an asynchronous class, which means we don't have a set meeting time, but there are deadlines. There are 9 modules in this class, and there is a delivery at the beginning of the module and then a deadline at the end of the module. So you will want to make sure you keep up with all the deadlines, because there will be deductions for work that's turned in late. There is a late section that you can turn in late work on. I'll go over that when I review our As You Learn course page. So even though there's not a set class time, it's good for you to plan a day or time in your schedule to be working on class assignments and to be watching the videos that I'm going to deliver on how to go through each module. We will also be having open labs on Fridays with a computer lab space at Harper Hall for you to use. The TA for this class will be there to monitor, so if you need a space to use Mac computers with the Adobe Creative Suite on it, that is available to you on Fridays, and I will let you know the details of that as well once we get that firmed up. I'm now going to switch over to the desktop video so you can see the course page, and I'm going to go over our syllabus and how that course page is set up. I'm now on the As You Learn course page. My email can be found here with my office hours at Harper Hall in room 129. If you do plan to visit me during office hours, it helps to give me a heads up so you can email me and let me know when you're going to come by and what you would like to go over, so that I can kind of be prepared and make sure I have the materials ready. You can also view my weekly schedule, which will be linked here, and I have not updated that yet, but I will be doing that week to week, so that if anything changes, I will post it there. If these times don't work for you, we can schedule a video conference at another time, so you can just email me to set that up and look at my schedule first to see when I'm not in class. And then right now I have Open Lab scheduled for 11 to 1 at Harper in room 127, which is a computer lab classroom. Any announcements will be posted to your App State email, and you can also review them here in the announcement section. And then all late assignments will need to be turned in this late assignment submission. Then if you go to helpful resources, this is a very important section. You can see the help Q&A form. If you have any questions or issues to address for the entire class, you can post there for me and RTA. And then the course syllabus can also be found here. And there's also a course schedule overview with just the module dates and deadlines on there for you to review. So let's go ahead and start with the course syllabus. You can see our required textbook is the Professional Portfolio for Adobe Dreamweaver. I'm using the 2019 version in this class from Against the Clock. So make sure that you do purchase the 2019 version, because that's what we will be using. These other books are just optional For our required text, the Against the Clock book, you will need to register once you purchase the book onto the website and download additional files that you will need to complete assignments. If you want to get the ebook, just keep in mind that it will be difficult to use the ebook on their desktops or smartphones, so I would only recommend the ebook if you have a tablet that you can use while you're working on your desktop or laptop computer. You will need a flash drive or some kind of storage. You're welcome to use a Google Drive, but you do need some kind of backup storage where you can save all of your files on for this class. We will be using the Adobe Creative Cloud programs. Dreamweaver, you can use the 2019 or 2020 version. I will be using the 2020 version. And then also Photoshop and Acrobat if you want to view the PDF files in Adobe Acrobat. But mainly you'll be using Dreamweaver and Photoshop for formatting our image files to place into Dreamweaver. We're also going to be using InDesign, Adobe XD as optional if you want to use those for some of our assignments, but it's not a requirement. We're going to be using HTML and CSS to code our sites in Dreamweaver. So this is not a coding class, but we will be required to do some basic coding and a basic understanding of coding for Dreamweaver. And we'll also be using free code camp just so you can familiarize yourself with some basic HTML and CSS coding. Those files will not need to be turned in, but it's just for practice. So the course schedule is divided into 9 modules, and the last module, Module 9, is where you'll turn in all your final sites. So you'll have 3 final projects that are due in the last module, and those are in place of a final exam. All of the modules will open up on Tuesdays. They are open currently, but they are not all updated. So I will have everything updated on the date that each module opens on that Tuesday. And then your assignments are usually due the following Tuesday. Some modules have 2 weeks, some have 1, so you'll just need to pay attention to the deadlines, and they're due by midnight on Tuesdays. Keep in mind that I'm not going to respond to emails after 9 p.m. There's a breakdown for grading, 58 points for all your homework assignments, 30 points for the final projects, and then discussions, including some surveys, are total 12 points, and that's 100 points total. And then this is our schedule, which I have also provided as a separate file here under helpful resources. So if you want to just go to course schedule overview, you can click on this and it will give you an overview of the date that each module opens up and then the deadlines for each assignment. There's also a Remind app that you can download and just look for our group, GCM3512 Spring 2020. So back to helpful resources. There are instructions for what to do once you get the Against the Clock textbook. You will need to go here to see how to register your files, create an account, and download your student resource files. There's also a web publishing document that once you need to get your website up and running, you can refer to that document and there's a video on how to do that too. Any Zoom videos will be accessed here under on the Zoom video link, and then any recordings will be posted here under Zoom recordings. This is important. The final project website samples, I would encourage you to go ahead and take a look at these. Are the top final sites from each semester. And if you click on each is hyperlinked, so you can see examples of what an e-portfolio might look like, what a professional site might look like, and what a responsive site may look like. Just make sure you do not share those sites or copy them and share them with anybody else. All right, so there's some other resources that you can refer to, and we'll be using free code camp. So what you'll want to do, so for each module, and this week we're starting with module 1, is to go to the Start Here button and click on module 1 Start Here. So whenever it says Start Here, that means click there and then go through the instructions. So I will embed the introduction video here, and then you can review the assignment sheet here, go through each step. These last 2 steps are really more for you to think about. So Step number 8 is asking you to decide how you're going to access the Adobe software. Are you going to purchase membership, or are you going to use it at the library? So you need to just be aware that you will need to have access to the software for Adobe Creative Cloud. Then step number 9 is just about web hosting. You don't have to set anything up yet, but just be aware that you are required to use a web hosting service for this class. And I recommend that you just use the ASU web host. It's free to students. But if for some reason you don't want to use that and you want to use a different web host, there's some other suggestions. The first thing, we've got a discussion that's going to be graded. Introduce yourself to the classmates, then respond to someone in this discussion forum. And so here is the survey. And then you will also need to sign up on this sign-up sheet. You can click on the link here. After you've done all the introductions and you've read the introductions, go ahead and sign up for a professional site. So I used to do this at more towards the end, but I'm doing this at the beginning of the semester, so you can go ahead and get your groups formed and get started so that everything you do in this class will be working towards that final site and you can get an early start. So go ahead and sign your name, and then you can sign next to somebody's name. You can write a site name or topic that you're thinking about for your professional site, and then your contact information so that your team members can contact you. I would also encourage you to go ahead and jump down to Module 9 and go to the final project website, assignments overview, so you can get an idea of what the final projects are about. And then you can also go to final project 1 assignment sheet, and then the final project 2 professional site. So look over this to see what is required of a professional site before you sign up with a partner and pick a topic. So for this week, I would like for you to go ahead and sign up by February 4th, and then you don't have to pick a topic until the following week. So for this week, just try to meet people in the class through the discussion forum, and then sign up with one or two people for the professional site. Going back to Module 1, you can see there is a link to free code camp, and these are exercises for you to get your feet wet and learn a little bit of coding. So you will go to the first lesson that I have linked here under Basic HTML and HTML5, and then go through the first 4 lessons. You will read the instructions, and then you will see the results. When you type in the code in the middle, then you'll see the results on the right. Then you can run the test to see if you did it correctly. You can click on Get Help if you're stuck, and then you can always reset the code to start over. Then for the Food for Thought section, it will be in every module, so you can start thinking ahead of how to apply what you're learning in each module to the final project sites. All right, I know that's a lot to cover, and I probably haven't answered all of your questions. So if you have other questions for me, again, please don't hesitate to ask them in the Help Q&A forum, email me, or see me during office hours, or set up a meeting with me if those times don't work for you. And also you can come to Open Lab, and I hope to introduce our TA to you soon too. We're going to start off with just introductions in Module 1, and then Photoshop in Module 2, setting up our sites in Module 3, and then we'll get into Dreamweaver in Module 4, and then build upon that in adding different images, styles, and content to your Dreamweaver sites so that you will be ready to build your final sites in Module 9. Well, I can't wait to get started with you as we build our websites in Dreamweaver.